The stage lights dimmed, and the world around Xiao Zhan felt like it was folding in on itself. Cameras flashed in the distance, fans screamed his name, and yet, all he could hear was the echo of Wang Yibo's voice, the quiet laughter they used to share, the promises whispered between scenes, and the warmth of someone who truly saw him beneath all the fame. But tonight, something was different. Something was wrong. Backstage at the music awards, Xiao Zhan's manager, Mr. Liu, was pacing like a man with a secret too heavy to carry. He had spent weeks planting seeds of doubt, whispering carefully crafted lies into Xiao Zhan's ears. Words meant to poison trust, to break a bond that had become too powerful, too threatening to the agency's control. "Zhan," he said smoothly, stepping closer, his voice low and manipulative. "You have to understand, being close to Wang Yibo isn't helping your image anymore. The rumors are getting out of hand. You need distance before it ruins you." Xiao Zhan's heart clenched. He didn't want to believe it. But the pressure, the endless articles, and the online noise had already begun to drown him. Every smile he shared with Yibo became a headline. Every glance turned into a scandal. Still, deep down, he knew Yibo wasn't the problem. It was the world that couldn't understand them. But Mr. Liu was relentless. He showed him fake reports, fabricated messages, even a doctored photo suggesting that Yibo was using their friendship to boost his own fame. Xiao Zhan stared at the images, his breath trembling. It wasn't like Yibo to be so calculated, but the evidence looked real. "He said that," Xiao Zhan whispered, his voice breaking. Mr. Liu nodded, his eyes filled with false sympathy. "I'm sorry, but yes. He told the press you needed him more than he needed you. That he carried your career after the Untamed. It was a lie so cruel that it split Xiao Zhan's heart open." That night, under the noise of celebration, the bright flashes of the paparazzi, Xiao Zhan walked away from the one person who had ever truly understood him. The next morning, Wang Yibo woke up to silence. No texts, no calls. Just emptiness. He reached for his phone, confused, scrolling through the dozens of unanswered messages he had sent. Then came the headlines. Xiao Zhan cuts ties with Wang Yibo, tension between the former duo. His chest tightened. None of it made sense. When they finally crossed paths again on a film set, the air between them was icy. Yibo smiled gently, trying to bridge the gap, but Xiao Zhan looked away, his eyes dark and distant. "Zhan," Yibo said softly, "did I do something?" Xiao Zhan's voice was quiet but filled with pain. "You should know, Yibo. You said enough already." "What are you talking about?" Yibo frowned, stepping closer. But before he could reach him, Xiao Zhan turned and walked off. That look, that deep, silent hurt, haunted Yibo for weeks. Behind the scenes, Mr. Liu's plan was working perfectly. Xiao Zhan was isolated, emotionally drained, and obedient to every career move his manager proposed. The agency positioned him as a solo artist, away from Yibo's shadow, crafting a new image that screamed independence. But what the world didn't know was that Xiao Zhan was breaking. Every interview where he smiled and said he was doing fine was another lie layered over a wound that refused to heal. One night, months later, Xiao Zhan stumbled upon something that shattered the illusion. A young assistant accidentally left a flash drive on his dressing table. Out of curiosity, Xiao Zhan plugged it into his laptop, and what he saw froze him. Video recordings, emails, voice messages, all from Mr. Liu. In one recording, Liu was talking to a tabloid editor. Spread the story that Wang Yibo betrayed him. The more noise, the easier it'll be to control Xiao. Another clip had Mr. Liu laughing with a rival manager, saying they were too close. It made the sponsors nervous. So I fixed it. Xiao Zhan's hands trembled. Every word, every tear he had shed, every sleepless night, it was all part of a manipulation. Tears streamed down his face as he whispered, "He set us up." That same night, Wang Yibo received an unexpected message. It was from Xiao Zhan. Just 2 words, "We need to talk." They met in a quiet restaurant far from the public eye, the kind of place where no one would think to look for them. The tension between them was thick, but the moment Yibo saw Xiao Zhan's trembling eyes, his anger melted into concern. "Zhan," Yibo said softly, You look exhausted. What's going on? Xiao Zhan handed him the flash drive. You need to see this. As Yibo watched the videos, his jaw tightened. The betrayal hit them both like a storm. When it ended, he looked up, his eyes fierce. He did this to us. He tore us apart. Xiao Zhan nodded, voice breaking. And I believed him. I doubted you. I walked away. Yibo stood up, his hands trembling slightly as he took a step closer. John, look at me. You were scared. They used that against you. But don't ever think I stopped caring. I never said those things. I never stopped believing in us. For the first time in months, Xiao Zhan let out a shaky breath. The weight lifted just a little. Yibo reached out, gently taking his hand. From now on, Yibo said, we protect each other. No more managers. No more lies. Just us. The city lights outside flickered softly, painting reflections on the glass. Xiao Zhan nodded, tears streaming down his cheeks. Just us. But the story didn't end there. Mr. Liu soon discovered that his secret was out. Furious, he tried to cover his tracks, deleting files, threatening the assistant who leaked the flash drive. But it was too late. Xiao Zhan had already taken action. He went public, not with details, but with strength. In a live interview, he spoke about betrayal and learning to trust again. He didn't name names, but everyone in the industry knew who he meant. The internet erupted with support. Fans flooded timelines with love, defending him and calling out the corruption behind celebrity management. Meanwhile, Wang Yibo made his own statement through his actions. During an award show, when his name was called for Best Male Artist, he stood on stage, held the trophy close, and said, "To the person who taught me what loyalty really means, this is for you." The camera cut to Xiao Zhan in the audience. Their eyes met. The crowd cheered, but in that moment, it felt like time had stopped. The world saw two men who had weathered lies, manipulation, and heartbreak, and still found a way back to each other. Later that night, away from the flashing cameras, Yibo found Xiao Zhan waiting outside by the car. The cool night breeze carried a silence that felt like home. "You didn't have to say that," Xiao Zhan murmured, smiling faintly. "I meant every word," Yibo replied. "You're not alone anymore." Xiao Zhan looked at him, his eyes soft and filled with gratitude. "Thank you for not giving up." Yibo smiled, stepping closer. "You're worth fighting for." The city glowed behind them, 1,000 lights shining like stars. And for the first time in a long time, Xiao Zhan felt peace. The kind that comes when truth finally wins. Months later, Mr. Liu's deceit came to light officially. He was terminated from the agency after evidence of manipulation and fraud surfaced. It was poetic justice. The man who tried to destroy trust was destroyed by his own greed. The world of fame glitters on the surface, but behind the flashing lights and perfect smiles lies a world darker than anyone dares to imagine. Xiao Zhan had built his success with grace, kindness, and a heart that never failed to believe in people. But sometimes, it's the ones you trust the most who carry the sharpest knives. That evening, as the city buzzed with noise and light, Xiao Zhan sat quietly in his dressing room. The mirror reflected his flawless face, but the man staring back looked exhausted, emotionally hollow. His manager, Mr. Liu, stood behind him, pretending to fix his tie while carefully weaving the final threads of his cruel plan. "You're doing amazing, Zhan," Mr. Liu said smoothly, his tone dripping with false pride. "But we need to talk about Wang Yibo." At the sound of that name, Xiao Zhan's heart softened. Yibo, the person who made every set brighter, every silence meaningful. They'd shared countless laughs, secrets, and unspoken dreams. But as Mr. Liu spoke, that warmth began to flicker like a dying flame. "People are talking," Liu continued, lowering his voice. "Sponsors are nervous. They think you're too close to him. It's damaging your brand." Xiao Zhan frowned. "What do you mean? Yibo's my friend. We've worked together for years." Liu sighed dramatically, shaking his head. "You're too trusting, Zhan. Not everyone who smiles at you is your friend. I didn't want to tell you this, but Wang Yibo's been talking to the press, privately, saying things like how you depend on him, how he carried your popularity after the Untamed." The words cut like glass. Xiao Zhan froze, his hands tightening on the edge of the table. That's not true. He'd never. But before he could finish, Lu slid a folder in front of him. Inside were printed screenshots, fake messages between Wang Yibo and a journalist. Words that seemed cruel and mocking. He said that. Xiao Zhan whispered, disbelief trembling in his voice. I wish it weren't true, Lu replied, his eyes full of carefully crafted sympathy. But it's spreading already. I've managed to keep out of the news for now, but if people find out you're still close to him, it could ruin everything you've worked for. The room fell silent. Only the hum of the air conditioner filled the space. Xiao Zhan stared at the papers, his heart breaking slowly, painfully. Memories flooded in. The laughter they shared after long shoots, the quiet moments on set when words weren't needed, the way Wang Yibo always looked out for him when no one else did. Could all of that have been an illusion? Lu placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. You need to step away, Zhan. For your own good. I'll handle the separation quietly. Just stop contacting him. Let the storm die. That night, Xiao Zhan stood on his balcony, staring at the city lights that once made him feel alive. His phone buzzed repeatedly, messages from Yibo. Simple, caring texts. Hey, you okay? Call me when you're done. I heard something's wrong. Please talk to me. Xiao Zhan's fingers hovered over the screen. His heart screamed to reply, but his mind, poisoned by doubt, hesitated. He placed the phone down, letting the messages go unanswered. For the first time, silence stood between them. Days turned into weeks. Wang Yibo was confused, hurt, and restless. Every time he saw Xiao Zhan on TV, the smile on his face looked colder. The warmth they once shared was replaced by an invisible wall, one built from lies. Behind that wall, Mr. Lu smiled. His plan was unfolding perfectly. Without Wang Yibo's influence, he had full control over Xiao Zhan's career. He booked solo projects, manipulated interviews, and rewrote Xiao Zhan's image to fit his vision, a puppet for fame. But cracks began to show. Xiao Zhan's eyes no longer sparkled the way they used to. During rehearsals, he lost focus. During interviews, he stammered, his once genuine charm replaced by emptiness. Fans noticed. So did the crew. One night, as they prepared for an event, Lu walked in with a forced smile. You did great today, he said. The company's happy. Xiao Zhan barely looked up. I should feel happy too, right? He murmured quietly. Lu hesitated. Of course. Why wouldn't you? Xiao Zhan turned to him, his eyes tired but sharp. Because I lost someone I never should have lost. And I can't even tell if it was my fault. Lu's confident smirk faltered for the first time. Don't start second-guessing. I'm protecting you. Protecting me? Xiao Zhan snapped, standing abruptly. Or protecting yourself? For a moment, their eyes locked, one filled with confusion and pain, the other with fear of exposure. But Lu quickly regained his composure. You're emotional, Zhan. Get some rest. As Lu left the room, Xiao Zhan's phone buzzed again. Another message from Yibo. Just 3 words this time. I still care. That simple line hit deeper than any lie ever could. Xiao Zhan's heart ached. He opened his drawer and pulled out the folder Lu had given him. The fake screenshots, the so-called proof. Something felt off. The dates didn't match the times Yibo was filming abroad. The phrasing didn't sound like him. Doubt began to turn into realization. He couldn't shake the feeling that he had been played, manipulated into breaking the one bond that truly mattered. That night, Xiao Zhan barely slept. Every conversation, every warning from Lu, every strange inconsistency, it all replayed in his head. By morning, the truth began to unravel. A young assistant accidentally mentioned something Lu had said weeks ago, a conversation that revealed more than it should have. Mr. Lu told us to leak that rumor between you and Yibo to boost online engagement. He said conflict sells better than friendship. Those words froze Xiao Zhan in place. He leaked it. The assistant nodded, unaware of the storm they had just unleashed. At that moment, everything clicked. The fake screenshots, the rumors, the timing. It was all orchestrated. Rage, heartbreak, and betrayal surged through him. Xiao Zhan grabbed his jacket and stormed out, his eyes burning with a mix of fury and disbelief. For the first time in months, he wasn't confused. He was awake. He drove through the city, the wind rushing past as his heart pounded. He needed answers. He needed to face the man who tore his trust apart. When he finally found Mr. Liu in the agency office, he didn't hesitate. "Why?" he demanded. Liu looked startled, but quickly forced a smile. "Zhan, calm down. Why did you lie to me about Yibo?" Xiao Zhan's voice was sharp, his composure breaking. "Why did you fake those messages?" Liu's silence said it all. His eyes darted away. The mask slipped. "Because you were too attached." Liu finally snapped. "You and Yibo were becoming a problem. The sponsors didn't like it, the press twisted everything, and I had to fix it before it cost us everything." Xiao Zhan stared at him, trembling. "So you broke the one thing that was real in my life for profit?" Liu's face hardened. "That's how this business works." "No," Xiao Zhan said quietly, tears forming. "That's how you work. Not me." He turned and walked out, leaving Liu in stunned silence. That was the last time they ever spoke. Outside, the evening air hit his face like a wave of freedom and pain. Xiao Zhan looked at the sky, whispering to himself, "I'll make it right, Yibo. I'll make you see the truth." If you enjoyed this emotional continuation, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more breathtaking stories that reveal the truth behind love, fame, and betrayal.